today I'm excited to present a complete beginner's guide to Old School RuneScape. I'll explain everything you need to know, starting with the basics, some early game pathways, and a range of useful information for every aspect of the game. The Gower brothers created RuneScape in 1999, where it started as Devious Mud, then evolved into RuneScape Classic, and eventually into RS2 and 3. Then, in 2013, Jagex brought back a snapshot of the 2007 version of the game, now known as Old School RuneScape, or OSRS. The game has received updates almost every week since 2013, with a very strong player base. In 2018, Jagex launched Old School on mobile devices, which makes the game available on Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. With weekly updates, a range of new content has been added to the game. The Grand Exchange wasn't released until after the Old School snapshot, so Jagex introduced the GE to Old School in 2015. There's also the Iron Man game modes, released in 2014, where you can't trade other players in any way. Jagex then introduced Hardcore Iron Man in 2016, where dying revokes your status. Then in 2021, Group Iron Man mode was added, allowing you to team up with friends under Iron Man conditions. Additionally, there are now raids in Old School, where the most recent raid was released in 2022. There are 3 of them, each with loot worth billions. There has also been 2 new continents added to the game, namely Zaya and Valamor, and 5 new Grandmaster quests have been added since release, each rewarding players with game-changing unlocks. Before playing RuneScape, you need to make a Jagex account, and this is where you store your characters. This can be done on the official RuneScape website by downloading the Jagex launcher, or just by downloading the Old School RuneScape mobile app. A Jagex account is far more secure than the old authentication methods, and it allows you to hold multiple characters under one account. Jagex also improved recovery, 2-factor authentication, and attack prevention. If you're making a new account, you're required to use a Jagex account. Although, if you still know your login details from back in the day, you can use that login too, but you will have to start from level 3. Once you have a Jagex account, you need to download the client to play RuneScape. If you're playing on mobile, that's just the app, but on PC, you can either play on the official client, the RuneLite client, or HDOS. I would recommend playing on RuneLite for your first time, especially for plugins like Quest Helper. Once you're ready to begin, your journey starts on Tutorial Island. Tutorial Island starts off going over the basic controls and actions. Then you get a glimpse at skilling and combat. I'm going to give a more thorough explanation of each mechanic. RuneScape is a tile-based point-and-click game where it runs on a tick-based system. In-game actions happen every 0.6 seconds. It's a sandbox MMO, meaning you have the freedom to do whatever you want. There is no linear path in OSRS that you have to follow. To move around, you can either click or tap on your screen, or on the minimap in the top right. The arrow keys are used to change the camera angle, or you can hold down the middle mouse button and drag around the screen. When in a chat dialogue, you can either click to select what you want to say, or you can use your keyboard. Using the numbers, you can select which option you want, or you can press the spacebar to continue. In the game settings, there's an option to set escape to close your current window, which can be useful for training some skills. There are 3 main combat styles in RuneScape. melee, ranged, and magic. Combat is based on random number generation, also known as RNG. You hit a damage number based on your offensive bonuses and the enemy's defensive stats. With certain boss encounters, you'll have to dodge attacks, like area of effect attacks, or you may need to change your protection prayers, which negate damage. Certain enemies are weak to certain attack styles, so you can use different gear depending on what you're fighting. This means you'll have to bring all 3 attack styles to places like raids. Now I'm going to show a mini combat training guide. For both members and free-to-play, using the best scimitar is the best for melee combat training. They have fast attack speeds and deal decent damage. You can buy scimitars from the shop in Al-Kharid, or you can buy one off the Grand Exchange. In terms of armor, for melee, you should be using your best metal armor set, and that ranges from bronze armor to rune armor, between levels 1 and 40. You should also use the Amulet of Strength, as well as the Combat Bracelet if you're a member. For range training, free-to-play players can use the best bow they can, but members have a range of extra ranged weapons, like knives and darts. For ranged weapons at a low level, you can buy bows and arrows from the range shop in Varrock. Ranged armor for low levels includes leather armor and dragonhide armor, and these give some small attacking bonuses for range. You can view the range skill guide in-game to view the highest level armor for you. For magic, using Fire Strike is a decent goal. It's cheap and hits fairly high. You can camp Fire Strike for a while, but with magic, there's a large variety of training methods, like alching, teleporting, enchanting, and more. To get runes for spells, there's a magic shop in both Port Sarim and Varrock, so you can buy from either one. For magic, you should wear wizard robes to start out. Then you can eventually get Mystic if you're a member. There aren't many free-to-play wizardry sets, but you can get Zamorak robes. Now I'll show you a range of training spots for free-to-play then members. In free-to-play, if you're just off Tutorial Island, a decent training spot is cows. They have higher health than chickens and goblins, and they drop more valuable loot. You can pick up the cow hides, meat, and the bones if you're looking to make a bit of starter cash. Once you reach around level 20 in the combat skills, you can move on to something harder. There are now frogs in Lumbridge Swamp, which have varying combat levels. You can fight the level 13 frogs, and since they have 23 hit points, they're good to train on. Once you reach around level 30s in the combat skills, you can then move on to flesh crawlers in the Stronghold of Security on floor 2. These are a low effort training spot since they're aggressive, and they also drop a bit of loot. Once you reach level 50 in the combat stats, you can move down one floor in the Stronghold to the spiders, and you can AFK there. Here though, it's recommended to bring full rune plus food, and you can AFK for 10 minutes at a time. If you're looking for a bit of money in free-to-play, you can fight Ogress warriors. These drop some valuable runes and armor pieces, which you can sell on the Grand Exchange for decent money. Now I'm going to show a training guide for members. So straight off Tutorial Island, the most efficient way to level your combat stats is to complete quests. Most importantly, the Waterfall quest is one you should get out of the way first. And this gets you from level 1 attack and strength to level 30 in both, with 0 requirements. There are some quests you can do for magic and ranged, but they do have some higher requirements. Alternatively, without questing, you can instantly start training on crabs for decent relaxed XP. I would recommend rock or sand crabs, and rock crabs are found in the northern section of Relica, and sand crabs are found south on Zaya. For these, you just stand next to the rocks on the ground and they spawn and attack you. Then after 10 minutes, you'll need to run out of view and run back to reset the aggression. This is because they stop attacking you after 10 minutes. Crabs are your best low effort training option until around level 70 in the combat stats. Although, I would recommend getting into Slayer for your combat training. Once you reach 50 or 60 in the combat stats, Slayer is the best and most efficient way to level up. Questing is vital in progressing your RuneScape account. There are quest lines that unlock a multitude of things, but technically, it's not required to do quests. Although not required, quests are essential for setting up your account with untradables, moneymakers, bosses, and more. If you'd like to complete quests efficiently, there's a broad range of guides out there to help you with quests. Slayer music is excellent for video guides. The wiki is great for written guides, and using the Quest Helper RuneLite plugin will take you all the way through every quest. Some amazing players have created optimal questing orders that show you which quests to do first and the order to do them in. This can save you hours in the long run. There's also achievement diaries, which are a list of tasks you need to complete, and the rewards are highly beneficial for your account, especially the high tier achievement diaries. In Old School, there are currently 23 skills. The highest skill level is 99, which requires around 13 million experience. And the experience required for each level goes up exponentially, where going from 98 to 99 requires more than 1 million XP. Now I'll take you through each of the skills, and I'll be starting with the free-to-play skills. First up is hit points, and this is the same thing as your health. Leveling the hit point skill increases your maximum health. This skill is trained sort of passively while you train the other combat skills. There's your attack level, which improves your melee accuracy and also allows you to wield higher tier weapons. Essentially, attack makes you hit more often. It doesn't make you hit any harder, just more accurately. However, unlocking better weapons can improve your damage. The strength skill increases your max hit with melee, and it's also required to wear some higher tier weapons. It makes you hit harder, but has no direct improvement to your accuracy. Increasing your defense level lowers the chance of an enemy hitting you, but it has no reduction on the amount of damage they can do. Although, certain defensive armors are locked behind your defense level, even armors that give a strength bonus. Ranged is archery, where leveling up unlocks better ranged weapons and ammunition. Having a higher range level makes you deal more damage with range. The prayer skill is used to activate prayers, and you're only able to pray for as long as your prayer level. So your prayer level and prayer points are the same thing. So when you're using prayers, it drains your prayer points. It's very expensive to train this skill, but with a low prayer level, you'll have a tough time with PvM. Increasing your magic level allows you to cast more spells like combat spells, teleports, and utilities. Having a higher magic level does improve your accuracy, but it only affects your max hit in some cases. The type of spell you use is what determines the max hit more than anything. To cast spells, you need runes, which can be expensive to use in comparison to the other combat styles. Leveling the mining skill allows you to mine higher tier rocks found around RuneScape. Despite being profitable, the profit rates aren't overly good, and it's a relatively slow skill to train compared to the others. The smithing skill is used to smelt ores into bars, then you turn the bars into items. In contrast, smithing is a fast skill to train, but it does require a bit of money to do it quickly. The fishing skill allows you to catch various fish and sea life throughout the game. Having a higher fishing level allows you to catch more types of fish, and it also increases your fishing speed. It's usually an AFK skill to train, although is quite slow if you want to train AFK. It's a semi-profitable skill, but for most of the good fishing spots, you drop the fish. Cooking is a skill used to make a range of foods, where a higher cooking level lowers your burning rate and also allows you to create new recipes. This is the most common skilling 99 in the game, mostly because it's a fast skill and it's very cheap to train. The firemaking skill is one used to light different logs to make fires. The higher your firemaking level, the higher tier of logs you can burn, which only gives more XP and not much else. The skill is pretty much useless, except for the fact that you can make a bit of money while training at the Winterton, and it's decent for Iron Men to get early game supplies. Wood cutting is used to cut down trees, where having a higher level increases your chances of receiving logs, and a higher level also gives access to more trees. It's one of the slower skills to train, but it can be sped up with tick manipulation. The crafting skill is used to make various armor, weapons, and jewelry. Having a higher level lets you create more things, and some high level unlocks are game changers. On an Iron Man, crafting is pretty slow since you have to gather the resources, but in the main game, you can train it pretty fast and pretty cheap. The final free-to-play skill is rune crafting, which I would strongly recommend not training in free-to-play. It's much faster in members, and essentially this skill allows you to make magical runes, where having a higher level gives access to a larger variety of runes. Rune crafting is often regarded as one of the slowest, most tedious skills in the game, with very slow XP rates, but it does give a lot of profit. So those were all of the free-to-play skills. Now let's talk about members. The construction skill is used to build and upgrade your player-owned house. Having a house provides a range of useful teleports, regeneration, and utilities which improve your gameplay. The only drawback of having a house is it's very expensive to level construction and expensive to upgrade your house. You can also use World 330 to access other people's houses and use their utilities. Another member's skill is agility, which is used to access shortcuts throughout the game. It also affects how quickly your run energy drains and regenerates. Agility is one of the slowest skills in the game, but it is a useful one. The herblore skill is used to make a range of potions. You need to complete the Druidic Ritual quest to be able to do herblore, and having a higher level lets you create a larger variety of potions. It's a pretty expensive skill to train, but not as expensive as some, and it's also an essential for Iron Men to create potions. The thieving skill is trained by stealing things, which can be an excellent way to get some early cash. Having a higher thieving level reduces your chance of getting caught, and it also allows you to steal from better locations. The fletching skill involves creating ranged weapons and ammunition. Getting a higher fletching level unlocks better bows, crossbows, arrows, and more. It's a skill where you have to spend a lot of money to train it quickly, and the slower methods will break even or make a small profit. Increasing your Slayer level lets you fight monsters that you normally couldn't, with some high-level Slayer monsters bringing in millions of coins per hour. You get assigned a Slayer task, and you kill those assigned monsters to get Slayer experience. Slayer is one of the best ways to train your combat skills efficiently, while making a profit in some cases. The Hunter skill is used to catch a range of creatures around RuneScape. A higher Hunter level unlocks more creatures and more potential moneymakers. Hunter can be fairly click intensive if you want to train it quickly. The 23rd skill in Old School is many people's favorite, and that is farming. This is exactly what it sounds like. You grow and harvest various crops around the game. There are farming patches scattered around the map, and in those you can plant things. Most of the farming methods involve planting, then waiting until they're grown, which can take hours, then harvesting and repeating. Now that you know about all of the skills, you might be wondering, with so many skills, where should you start? Well, now I'll take you through some early game pathways and goals. Much of the early game involves questing and skilling towards quest requirements. For members, working towards the Recipe for Disaster quest is a big step in progressing your account. If you're not really sure how to start or progress, you can follow the optimal quest order spreadsheet that I've linked in the description. For free-to-play players, you can aim for the Dragon Slayer quest. To get a boost in combat from an early level, members should aim to complete the Waterfall quest, boosting you to level 30 attack and strength. You can also do a range of other fairly easy quests for more combat experience. An important early game goal is to unlock all of the essential skills. This includes completing the Druidic Ritual quest for Herblore and Rune Mysteries for Runecraft. There's also the quests for Blackjacking, Pyramid Plunder, Guardians of the Rift, and a few others, and those can be completed as you unlock those methods. If you're a new player, having a bit of cash is going to go a long way, allowing you to purchase teleports, gear, food, and other useful stuff. Completing herb runs is considered to be the best moneymaker without super high requirements. Thieving is another way to get some starter cash, where going for 99 will get you 15 million GP at Arty Nights. Crafting is profitable in some cases, where making jewelry at a low level can sometimes make millions an hour. There's a lot of resources online about money making, so if you're looking for a method that suits your account, do a bit of research and you'll find something good. You should get comfortable looking at guides and also get comfortable using the client. There's tons of free resources out there for you to use. So if you ever get stuck, look things up with the keyword OSRS at the end. The #1 early game goal for new players is to establish your account goals. There's no set path in RuneScape. You can do whatever you want, so it's nice to set a goal like 99 in a skill or defeating certain bosses. Once you reach a decent total level, and you've hopefully obtained the Barrow's gloves, you'll be able to explore the OSRS mid-game. This involves grinding mini-game rewards, like the Dragon Defender, Void, Barbarian Assault, and more. The aim is to unlock all of the untradables while building your bank, so it also includes a lot of mid-game money-making and working towards the harder quests. Once you reach the mid-game, bossing also becomes an option, and there's a range of bosses available. Perilous Moons is a great one, where it sets you up with the knowledge you need for high-level PvM. You can also partake in the Wilderness bosses, or defeat Zulrah, or do the Barrows activity. With 90s in most of your skills, you can consider yourself entering the endgame. Endgame content includes raids, elite achievement diaries, high-tier combat achievements, high-level training methods, and completing high-tier clue scrolls. Endgame bossing includes mechanically intensive bosses that will test all of the skills you've learned from the early and mid-game. There's prayer switches, gear switches, damage avoiding, and more. Journeying from level 1 in a skill all the way to level 99 can take hundreds of hours. It's a big achievement that should be celebrated, and the game celebrates this achievement with a skill cape. Skill capes provide small perks for the skill, with some that are very useful. So getting to 99 takes a long time, but some players have achieved the maximum experience, which is 200 million in one skill. Level 99 is 13 million XP, so getting 200 million is like doing 99 15 times. Link's Titan was the first player to get 200 mil in all 23 skills, 5 years after the release of Old School. But achievements go further than skills. Some players have achieved unimaginable feats. For example, Mutz is one of the most respected hardcore Iron Men, where he has the Grand Master combat achievements without dying. There's also the level 3 Fire Cape, achieved by both Rendy and Exac. Pets are another significant achievement, and you have a tiny chance of getting a pet from a range of bossing and skilling activities. The rarest pet in the game, excluding the new pets, is the Penance Queen pet, where less than 5,000 players have it. The most common pet is Rocky, the thieving skill pet, which is dropped while training thieving. So that was my complete beginner's guide to OSRS. If you have any questions, leave a comment and I'll do my best to get back to as many people as possible. To skip back to any section of this guide, there are detailed timestamps in the description below. Also in the description, I've included a range of useful resources for getting started on OSRS. So if you want even more information, check those out. If you learned something today and want to see more content, consider subscribing and be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.